Hey guys, welcome back, Digital Gate Studios. I got Jesse with me.
Yeah.
It's update time, and it is Leomon Tribal update, one of our most popular decks and the ones we keep getting asked about. So it's about time we finally got this put on the channel for you.
Let's go.
So if you have not seen our previous Leomon video, I kind of explain a little bit more of the combo in depth. It still has that same principle. We just have a little bit more tools in the mid levels, right? So we're going to start off with the same base as we did before. The Pokemon, still a great egg, even though in our last video, there was a rule specification that we were kind of, that was brought to our attention, right, with the whole deletion of like Leomon X with this underneath. Well, this card's still good because it makes our boss a 3-cost Evo instead of a 4-cost Evo. So it's still a great card in the deck.
For sure.
If you guys really just like more draw power, you could play the new Wanyamon. But this deck, believe it or not, just draws a stupid amount of cards.
Yeah.
So we're going to dive into our level 3s next. So our first level 3, and this has been one of my favorite level 3s since 1.0. This is BT1 for blue. Right now, obviously, nowadays, you're not really playing this particular Gomamon as much, but this is on deletion, gain 1 memory. Maybe I like it so much because it's basically a purple card, right? No, great level 3, and it pairs well with the Leomons that on deletion, gain 2 memory, just gives you 1 extra memory to do a whole lot of work with, for sure. Now, this is a new addition to the deck. This is the Vmon from BT8. So on play, reveal the top 4 cards of your deck, add 1 2-color blue card, place the rest on the bottom. So really what this is for is that this is just like additional search in the deck. So that way you can get to your boss quicker, you can get to your level 5 quicker, you can get, just good chunk of cards that this particular Vmon searches out. So
and if you have what you need already in hand, you just use it to digivolve and draw a card.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so speaking of, being able to digivolve in the raising area, so from the previous video, I did decide to eventually go up 1 more level 3. I decided to go to 9 instead of the 8 that I was before. 8 actually felt pretty good in a deck prior to mulligans. You do draw a lot. A lot of times your turn 1 move is kind of to get that Jerry on played, to get the Leomon played, or sometimes you just hard play the Leo. But I still decided I wanted to go up just 1 more level 3, have a little bit more aggression in the raising area, and just additional draw power by, doing like this cool 4-3-2 split that I'm a fan of. Allows me to search. That draws me a card when it's played. So just good, draw engine and stuff. And so here's an additional card that can draw you a card on deletion. The mascot of the deck, the Leomon, EX2 Leomon. So this particular Leomon has blocker when you have a tamer in play, which we play a good number of tamers. This will generally be a blocker, especially if you're playing it for free with the Jerry. On deletion, gain 2 memory, draw 1. So gain 3 memory with that Goma. It's really nice. Sometimes when you just play it by yourself too, that 2 memory that you gained is still really useful.
Really makes your opponent think twice about whether or not they want to swing.
Yeah, and this was another favorite card of mine back from BT1. I played this card a lot. BT1 Leomon. On deletion, gain 2 memory. So lesser version of this, but it is 1 less play cost and 1k more DP. But it's just more so like, in the nice raising area, you can get like a Gomamon, Leomon built. So when this stack dies, you gain 3 memory. Pretty insane what that does. So I know I for sure used that a lot back in 1.0. Used it a lot in the previous Leomon list. Like I said, link will be in description below, so you can check that out. Let's talk about another addition to the deck. And now, when I say addition, it's not like this is a new card that all of a sudden came out to make the deck just, you have to play it, right? But I'm playing now the BT4 Green Leomon.
Out came the yellows.
Out came the yellows.
In went the green.
And I was playing 4 of the yellows. So I actually went down on a Leomon, right? So Jerry might be a little less inconsistent, or you know what I'm saying? But it's only by 1 card. Yeah. And the reason why I went green is because we have a new level 5 that was released in this set with the Panjamon that digivolves on blue or green, right? And I really just wanted to make sure that I could maximize that. This particular Leomon is also searchable now with Davis, who is the tamer that we featured in this deck as well.
Yeah.
Now we can grab an additional level 4 so we can set up Jerry plays later on. So this is where we're at right now. A great complement to the deck. This is one of my favorite pieces for sure in the deck. 4 Leomon X antibodies.
Oh, yeah.
So this particular card, yes, he does digivolve on blue or green level 3s, but he also could have digivolved on the yellow. So if you did really like that yellow level 4 Leo, you can still play it. I just went with the green for additional consistency on the level 5s because this deck has the same strategy and kind of the same mindset that you had on the previous Leomon build, but now we're featuring a little bit more action going on with this, with a secondary level 5 with the addition of that new Pangemon. So you have the ability to DNA with the Chimera, like I showed in the previous list, and also have that Pangemon do a lot of work. So in order to make room for some new cards, I did also cut down one of my hybrids. Arguably, I could have done that last set. I was just enjoying having 3 Lobomons because it was ridiculous when you just, you would gain 3 memory when that Leomon stack would die, and all of a sudden you can whip out 3 Lobomons and win the game that turn.
Right.
So we did go down to 2 just to give room in the deck for our new level 5 as well. And like I said, I added 1 more level 3, just kind of balancing some levels out here and there.
More consistency, yeah.
More consistency. Now, this is a card that as soon as I saw it, I knew this was going to be a 4 of. This was no doubt in my mind as soon as this was coming out, 4 of the Pangemon.
We had people hitting us up like in anticipation for this card coming out.
Yes, absolutely. So I love this card.
Yeah.
So when digivolving, you may play 1 green or blue tamer card with a play cost of 4 or less from your hand without paying the cost. So now one of the things I was kind of questioning with this deck, and I may end up doing that, is do I increase my tamer count, right? Do I increase the amount of tamers I play? Because now when I digivolve on this, I can play them for free. I'm still staying with the same tamers that I had in the last video, and I'll show you if you haven't seen that, here at the end what I'm playing, because Davis is still good search, Jerry still can play a body, and I didn't see like any particular blue-green tamers that just would completely change the game. The green Mimi could be really nice because, green level 5, green level 5. So we can trigger that Mimi ability, maybe get some additional pressure with the eggs. But with only 9 level 3s and already having Davis as our memory setter, so it's a tough call. If you guys, the Ken and Davis, that's also a good tamer that I could honorably mention for sure. That could be played in this deck, but I'm kind of sticking with what I've been doing because it's been working, and I may update. Probably won't do another video for you guys. We don't, unless something just groundbreaking releases in future sets, but I will be messing with that, and you always can reach out to me and let me know what you think. One of the main reasons this Pangemon's played for the inheritable.
Yeah.
Your turn, once per turn, when you play another Digimon by an effect, one of your Digimon gains Rush. So this deck already played Digimon by effects. We're talking our boss, right? Boss is the Imperial. Our boss, when Leomon dies, when Panja X dies, right? We have ways to play bodies. Now we're just that much more aggressive. We're a whole turn, 2, 3 turns aggressive because they have Rush. That's insane. And that's another reason why this egg needs to stay in the deck. So Imperial Dramon stays a 3-cost Evo, so you can spawn out 2 of those bodies, and one of them will gain Rush, right?
Well, that's the best part, too, is one of the bodies that you spawn out could swing for that turn and die, and then you gain the memory and draw the card, or gain the memory on the other one.
Exactly. Keep extending your turn.
Yeah.
Being able to extend plays by gaining memory with one of these swings, or whatever it may be. Now, this is where I'm torn, right? You may think that playing as many level 5s as I play in this deck, and I still do play the same 4 Chimera, so maybe I'll just lay this out now, just so you can kind of see my level 5 count, since that's the thought that I'm on right now. Right? So we are playing 11 level 5s. This does seem like a lot. I get it, and I understand. But if you've played this deck before, you see how many cards Jerry draws you.
Yeah.
You see how many cards you do get just by with Leomon X digivolving for 0 on a Leomon. When this gets deleted, you draw a card. And Davis searches, right? So there are tons of ways to draw cards. You do get your deck going. So you're not just going to be completely flooded by level 5s. The Chimera is part of the main combo for this deck. I do, like I said, a little bit of a deeper breakdown in the previous video. So go ahead and watch that if you want a little bit of a deeper explanation of that combo. But this Panja X was one that was a 4 of, and this was a 4 of, and those were all my level 5s in that previous list.
Oh, so you just straight up added.
So I removed one of these,
one,
but added 4 of these, right? Yeah. So it's one of those, I added 3 additional level 5s to the deck. This inheritable's so good. You want to trigger that. You want to digivolve for 0 into a Pangemon X antibody, so that way you have this inheritable live, and then you can also have this, swing, delete, and play that Pangemon, right? So you have a whole bunch of synergy where I felt like you didn't need 4 Pangemon X's, but 2 felt like it wasn't going to be enough. So I'm on the fence. That may end up going down to 2. If you guys try this deck, let me know what you think. If you do remove this, you could play another green Leomon. You could play a yellow Leomon. You could play another level 3. You could play a third Lobo if you liked how ridiculous that was last list.
Well, with that Pangemon too, I mean, since you're running 4, there's a higher chance you're going to see it in security, which is a higher chance it's going to be in your trash, which is a higher chance the Chimera can tuck it too.
Exactly. There's just so much good use. So let's talk about Chimera, right? 2 level 4s, DNA Digivolve. This deck plays a lot of level 4s. Whether it's through Jerry, whether it's through an ability of one of these cards that spawn out of Leomon, whether it's through our main boss, the Imperial, right? This deck spawns level 4s. You want to be able to DNA Digivolve them for 0 and go into another Imperial Dramon to then spawn out those bodies, right? So Chimera is part of the core of the deck. Now, we do have a new secondary combo with this Pangemon package that really plays well with the Leomon, but and doesn't quite take away, right? Because you can still Digivolve Imperial on top of Pangas, right, and still spawn out level 4s. It's really easy, right? And it spawns out green and blue level 4s. We added additional green. We have the other color that we may need with the Leomon X antibody, so it's going to be very consistent for you to spawn out that Imperial Dramon. And be able to keep it your turn, because you'll gain at least 1 memory depending how many Bukamons you have on board. So Chimeramon, we did take away the ceiling on the Chimera. It's not going to do minus 4K. Now it's only going to do minus 3 because you're only going to have 3 colors. It's not going to hit that 12K threshold and be a menacing threat as much, but this deck focuses more on using that Chimera to kind of reload a good inheritable Panja, reloading a level 4 that you want to spawn out with the Leo, etc., etc. So let's dive into the boss. We've been hinting at it all day, right? 4 Imperials. Imperial's just too good in this deck.
Yeah.
He's the main boss. This is a Leomon Tribal deck, do not get me wrong, but it's almost an Imperial Dramon deck, right? And I know it's blasphemy because I've never played Imperial Dramon unless it's like this, right? Huge fan of this card. Being able to spawn out 2 bodies on Digivolving for only 4. Now, again, it is specific. It does say both of them have to be level 4 or lower, right? And then one has to be green, one has to be blue. So if this was just a normal blue stack with no green cards, you would only spawn 1 body. But because we have 2 colors, we can spawn out 2. So love this deck. It's 12K is a very good number. It gets very aggressive, swings into a lot of things. Big fan of it. And now let's move on to his brother in arms.
My favorite.
The Imperial Dramon Fighter Mode. Imperial Dramon Fighter Mode is just such a fun complement. Now, this is one of those cards where if let's say you didn't want as much of a top end and you wanted to maybe add another 3, add another level 4, the Leo, add an option, whatever you want to add another Tamers, you could remove the Fighter Mode. Normally with Imperial Dramon decks, I'm not the biggest fan of having this more than a 1 2 of anyways, but I really like it in this deck. Yeah. It's so strong. You already have this Imperial Dramon, and the ability to do all of his great effects with Digivolving, when attacking once per turn, because you are going to have the blue-green underneath it. It's just such a great pseudo level 7 in this deck by having that. And he's just a good backup level 6 as well. Another reason why I'm sticking with kind of 6 level 6s is because now that I'm playing so many level 5s, sometimes you just need to have something for that card to do, right? When you have so many level 5s. But this is it for Digimon. So the main changes from the previous video, changing that Leo from yellow to green, removing 1, adding just 1 more level 3, adding in these great searcher with the Vmon. If you notice, now this Vmon can search Leomon X antibody, who's very important to the deck, Pangemon X antibody, who's important for the deck, and our Imperials, which is really important for the deck as well. Let's dive into our Tamers next. We are playing 4 of the Jerrys.
No surprise there.
No surprise here, guys. I wasn't trying to be sneaky. Jerry is just a great tamer for this deck. I know a lot of people liked it in Full Force. I know you messed with it a lot.
I messed with it. I cried when I had to take. Well, I didn't have to.
Because it's fun. It's such a fun way to play.
It draws you so many cards.
It's insane how this tamer can just draw you so many cards. So for those of you who don't know what this card does, Go watch my last video. I'm just kidding. I'll tell you what it does. On play, play one Leomon from your hand. So you play this for 4. You can play any one of these Leomons, right?
A lot of targets.
A lot of targets. So there's 11 Leomons. Again, if you decide you want to increase the number of green Leomons, go for it. I get it. But opponent's turn. When an opponent's Digimon attacks, you suspend this tamer to draw 1 card. So it doesn't matter what they attack with. Attack into, draw a card. It's awesome.
They
so
turn
that's
cardboard sideways, you draw cards.
boom.
Yeah.
Gets your hand filling really quickly to get the pieces that you need.
Especially when you have multiple of those out, you just keep you
Yes,
draw
exactly.
Chunks and chunks. Of cards.
Crazy how close I get to decking out with this deck that you wouldn't think would happen just because of the draw engine of Jerry. Very nice. And to help with our deck some more, we are playing 3 Davis. So Davis, I mean, one of the best tamers in the game. I mean, is it safe to say that at this point? Especially if you're playing green or blue, you're playing generally kind of both colors, right? I mean, very rarely. I mean, well, I guess it's O4 kind of sticks to pure blue. You could miss in some green, but Davis is great for this deck. Davis can grab you everything you see here besides the tamer
And the Chimera.
and the Chimera. You're right. And then it can almost grab you 2 things when it's revealed. And Davis is a great memory setter, putting you at 3 memory, which is just something sometimes you need. So this is the updated Leomon. I hope this scratches that itch that you guys have been asking us for so badly. Love this deck. I'm always going to be a huge fan of this deck. I cannot wait for the next level of this deck. Would love to hear what your guys' thoughts are and what you guys have been messing with since you watched the last Leomon and you were able to put the deck together and test it out yourself. So thanks for sticking in.
I'll see you next time.